What are the key things or some of the key things that you think people should take away from the book?
I think that the main thrust of the book is that the way that we are taught and generally think about money is that it is a math-based field, that it's numbers and formulas that give you a precise answer that will tell you what to do. And to me, everything I've learned about money, whether it's personal finance or investing or running a business, is that it's not a math-based field. It's a soft social sciences-based field. It's closer to psychology and sociology and history. And what's going to separate the good from the bad in finance, people who do really well and people who do really bad, is not your intelligence. It's not your education. It's not your IQ. It's whether you keep control over your emotions. It's about your relationship with greed and fear. It's about who you trust and who you seek information from. All these like soft topics that are easy to get swept under the rug. If you think about finance like it's something like physics, where there's just like firm, hard, immutable truths. If you think about it that way, I think a lot of those people go astray. Like there's no other field in which someone with the best education, someone who went to Harvard Business School and works at Goldman Sachs and then goes to work for Bridgewater, one of the best hedge funds, that person can underperform like someone who didn't go to college and knows nothing about investing, but just dollar cost average and do a bunch of index funds.
Yep.
There's no other field where someone with no training and experience can outperform someone with the best training and experience, but it happens all the time in investing.
Right.
And the reason that's the case is because it's a soft behavioral psychological based field that has very little to do with your intelligence or IQ.
What do you think the most important psychological attributes are for someone to be successful?
I think in a broad sense, it's knowing yourself and knowing that how you think about risk is different than I think about risk, which is different from anyone else because we've had different experiences in life. We've seen different things. We have different circumstances. We have different goals. And therefore, there is not one right answer that is right for me and right for you and right for anyone else. And I think that's kind of like, it's kind of discouraging for people. It's hard for people to accept that. Yep. When people want to think that there is one right answer, they want to think like we're debating, like this is algebra. Like there should be a right answer. And if we're coming to different answers, it's because one of us is wrong. I just don't think it's like that whatsoever. So, there's a chapter, the last chapter of the book is called Confessions, where I write about what I do with my own money. I don't give any numbers, but other than that, I open up the kimono and here's what I've done with my own money. And there are things that I do with my money that you cannot justify rationally. They don't make sense on paper. That if someone looked at this and said, you're not doing this efficiently. Like on a spreadsheet, this is wrong. And my response is like, I know it's wrong. I know it's not efficient, but it works for me. Right. And it helps me sleep at night, which is my only goal. So I think the more that people can embrace that this is a messy field with no right answers, and that your only goal should be to find something that works for you and helps you sleep at night, not what maximizes your returns, but just helps you sleep at night. Well, I think once people embrace that, then a lot of the problems that they face in money and investing become a lot clearer.
I do think that there's but some of it can be super simple. So like live below your means. So you save money, right? And ideally save as much as you can, like 10 or ideally 50% of your money, right? Invest it in a broad index fund, keep fees low, rebalance on some regular basis or automate it. Do that for 10 or 15 years. And you're going to be financially comfortable, maybe financially independent. It's like that's the end of the story.
That's it. And people want to think it's a lot more complicated because if you asked a NASA scientist, how do I get to the moon? That's a complicated answer. And people look at how big finance is and all the flashing lights on Wall Street and how much money you can make. And I think it's intuitive to think, well, it must be complicated. The fact that there are hedge fund managers that make $1 billion a year means that it must be complicated, right? So that's the intuition that is so easy to think about. But I'm the same way. You explain to people, how do you do well in investing? It's like live below your means, diversify, be patient. And that's it. Like, I don't have anything else to tell you. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, if you understand the psychology of why that is hard to understand, that's the puzzle piece we're trying to fix for. It's not like, do you need to write a book telling people how to invest? No. But you need to write a book telling people what happens inside of your head when you try to think about that simple solution.